Welcome to the NZ Nomad Runner podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Lucas.
And I'm your co-host, Charlotte Milne.
We're run coaches at CMF Running, where we coach runners and athletes to all abilities to any surface, any distance races. Today, we're very excited to be talking about the second half of the Faultline course. We previewed the first half in our previous podcast, from the start line of the 100 miler to the 85k point at Porirua, and today we're covering the rest of the course.
Yes, which we will obviously pick up the 50k and then the 25k along the way.
Yes, so that's probably a good place to start, really, isn't it? Just to show sort of, because there's some different coloured lines on this map. Also, just a correction from the previous podcast, we were talking about 35k's from Dry Creek from the start of the 100k to Porirua. It's actually 25k's, which is quite funny. So yeah, the 100k course, just going back to last podcast, the correction, which I'm sure everyone knows anyway. 100k course starts here at Dry Creek and bypasses, doesn't do the squiggly lines here. You can see this little yellow line here. That is where the 100k course goes. we forgot about that, eh?
We did.
And it is most of the time most of our runners are on the 100 miler, and so we're kind of like thinking about the 100 miler.
Yeah.
And Char's doing the 100 miler. I ran the 100 miler last year.
Yeah, we've
it's quite funny.
On the training runs, we've done that loop.
Yes.
So yeah. It's
So 100k's, you get to take the shortcut. At Belmont.
Just across the way.
Yeah, 25k's to Porirua. So yeah, if you want to check out more of anything pre-Porirua, it's in the previous video that we put out last week on the channel.
Awesome.
Yes. So just to refresh it, so yeah, this blue line is, it's basically the miler course. Like we said, it's the 100k course as well. From here on out, it's all the same. And any pink lines that you see along the way, these are, and I'm leaving them there because I think it's pretty cool. These are actually bits of the course last year that are not included this year. So you can see where the improvements are. This pink section here at Karori is where the 50k started last year. And all these sections here in Macra is the sort of loops that we did, that I got to do. Oh, you got to? Oh no, you didn't get to do.
No, it's before Macra Aid
You
Station.
paced him from 130 here. But yeah, I got to do those loops. So just an interesting point of note that you'll get to see them along the way. And in that last 21k is a lot of enhancements and improvements, because we just ran this section last week, which we'll talk about as we get through. So the other two colours that are worth noting is this green one here, which is where the 50k course starts at Ian Galloway Park. We actually ran this in one of our CMF community training runs a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? A couple of weekends ago. Had a massive crew show up, which was awesome. And we did this section here, which then joins up to Skyline and just carries on.
And then the little red bit down the bottom is where the 25k starts.
Yes. The Brooklyn turbine, wind turbine on top of the hill there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Just a very short section that's unique to the 25k course, and then literally joins up with the rest of the course.
Yeah, it's kind of like funny, wherever it's like the blue trumps all. So if you can't see your colour, you're just on the blue line anyway.
Correct.
Just FYI.
Yes. Righty-ho, so we'll split this course preview into three sort of chunks, and we'll look at the Porirua the Porirua hub to the Skyline hub, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll look at the Skyline hub to Arrow Valley, so that covers all your Skyline track, all your stuff at Macra, and then into Arrow Valley, and then the other section being the last 21 k's from Arrow Valley to the finish. Yeah, because
Cool.
they're kind of 3 distinct sections, really, aren't they? So yeah, Porirua, into it. What do we got?
Well, we have, I was just like saying to Chris, this is the only section this year that I have not run, so I had to dig deep in the memory files and remember it from a training run we did last year. But I do remember, like, coming out of the Porirua hub, just all through those squiggly lines up here. It's like that kind of terrain that, it's not too steep. It's either like walk jogging or really slow running, or obviously if you're at the front of the pack, then it's pretty good running, really. You're just kind of like grinding away through the zigzags. You would have, especially in the miler and the 100 mile and 100k, you would have done some of this kind of terrain, like 60 k's into the past Boulder Hill, that kind of zigzaggy that you would have seen previously in the race. It's
it's kind of similar to the track in Belmont, isn't it?
Yes,
That's the one you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of undercover forest, bush, and just quite a nice gradient. Obviously, depending on how you're going in your race, will obviously dictate how you approach it. But like I said, it's not definitely not the steepest parts of the the trail of the course. Sorry.
Did you find it similar to these bits here, like, or more like this bit here? Wasn't it the climb?
Probably more like that bit there.
This part here,
There is some bits in that 10k loop that are similar. I think there's like 3 bits in the whole 100-mile course that are kind of like this zigzaggy.
There's another one going into Macra, isn't there? Yeah.
So, yes, there is. Yeah. So it's a nice way to leave. It's kind of like a nice way to leave, like, a pretty, especially in the miler, like you're halfway through or just over, a pretty distinct like aid station or hub. You just get back into the groove of running again.
Yeah.
And obviously, for most of us, we'll be getting into the night actually, like, as well.
Yeah, mid-pack. If you're mid-packing in the mid-pack and back, you're going to be coming into the evening, aren't you? Either around Porirua or just afterwards, as you leave into night mode.
Yeah, because obviously daylight saving is no longer a thing, so it's getting dark around 6, which is pretty reasonable going, like, for a 100-mile runner. I'm probably going to be around there at that time. Definitely.
Yeah, and even if it's probably like 5:30 and you're in this climb, like, because there's canopy cover there,
That's right.
it'll be getting quite dark. Yeah.
And you just want to obviously like maximize. Well, you want to have your light right, because to not have your light would require more energy, right, to see where you're going. So it's like energy saving. And
we've already talked about, like, with Char's plan for race day, we're sort of preparing for night mode at Porirua. Like, maybe might not be necessarily having the light if it's still a bit of light, but it's just having it, making sure it's at the top of the bag, so it's easy for you to grab, or in the outside pocket at that point, and just assessing, if we're putting long sleeves on at that point, or depending on what the conditions are like.
Yeah, for sure.
Because once you do leave this area, you are up. Once you do get up onto Colonial Knob in this section, quite a lot more exposed, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, once you leave this canopy of this climb, a lot more exposed.
Yes, you're like right up on obviously like a ridge line, and just remember, even in the training run, like wind,
Yeah.
but
All coming from here.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
So once you get to the climb there, it's Colonial Knob, like we said, exposed. There's a bit of gravelly, hard pack stuff, and then it's sort of like that, park, grassy farmland kind of descent from the peak, and then dropping into Spicer Forest. Spicer Forest is pine forest, your run-of-the-mill pine forest, but single trail, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. That's
so
right.
you over the stile, Spicer Forest, through some pine forest, and there's like a couple of sections to Spicer Forest. After the second section, you then are onto the private land bit, which is the airstrip. If you zoom in, you can see the airstrip, which is on the private land. So around this section here is where you start jumping into the private land part of the course. And then from here it's quite straightforward, really. It's farmland kind of vibes. For me last year in the Myla, I was just coming into dusk round here, round about this airstrip actually. It was just dusk or almost dusk. By the time I got to Skyline, it was pitch black.
Yeah.
And took me a bit longer to get there as well, like because I actually clocked 105 k's on my watch, which I'd be expecting around the same. We've talked about this as well for you, and in our internal dialogue with our members and that, I reckon it'd be more like 105 on the watch, not 100, and which is certainly what I clocked last year as well.
Yeah, it's obviously a good tip to do, like, especially those key hubs. Like, definitely check what it says on the course description and what it actually says on your watch, and just sort of take note, obviously, what is between each hub, or if you want to get more granular, between each hub to aid station, and just and don't get like too caught up into what it should be to opposed to what it is. Especially like getting into the dark, getting into the wee hours now, like not wee hours, like getting through the race, right? So you could be starting to get tired, so all those kind of things can get like a little bit exacerbated because you're so it's
just a nice thing to know and keep track of as the day unfolds. And that's why we're saying 85 even for Porirua, because that's what we've done runs on the course for all the previous bits, and 85 is the sum that we're kind of coming up with. So that's why we're kind of talking 85, 86, or 84 to 86 for Porirua. That's what we're sort of coming up with. And the funny thing, it was one of the I fell into that trap last year in my Myla. I was expecting to come up on Skyline at 100 k's, and just kept going and going and going, and I was like, oh my god. So it was another 5 k's to what I was thinking in my head. When I left Porirua, I thought I was in for like a pretty short section, 15 k's. That's what I was saying in my head, and but that 15 k's became more in my mind. Who knows what my watch said at Porirua too? I'd have to go back and check the file, but because I wasn't doing that thing of checking where I was at,
Okay.
And so in my head I was probably like, cool, 15k,
Yeah, and obviously, like it sounds good, as well. I hit a hub at 100 k's, right? It's like a big significant milestone in the race, like 100 k's. You want to be like not in the middle of nowhere. You want to be like with people, maybe as well. But obviously, like an extra 5 k's is
significant.
Yeah, it can be like it's
an hour.
Most people it's an hour.
Yeah.
Some people it's more than. Some people it's less than. But I remember Chris came into Skyline and he was sort of grumpy.
Because I had to pull my headlight out before I was expecting. I was expecting to just get the headlamp on at Skyline. And no, I was tired. Grumpy,
tired.
that kind of way. And the course markings had been eaten by some of the cows on the farmland crossing. That's being addressed this year. So yeah, that kind of thing. There was a bit of navigating involved in that section too, which so it was just grumpy Chris at 100 k's or 105 k's at Skyline. Yeah, so there we are.
But yeah, I feel like that section isn't like anything new. Like compared to some of the later parts, there's some new terrain to experience. But like that bit between Colonial Knob is a little bit like some of the Belmont stuff.
Yes.
We've talked about how that zigzag is also a bit about the Belmont stuff as well. So it's just more of the same, but obviously just other outside circumstances like the light getting into the race that sort of create a different sort of stimulus or a different kind of vibe than you did when you were like 50, 60, 70 k's into the race.
Yeah, and also like just getting cooler as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, temperatures tend to be slightly, warmer up the coast, and so you're sort of coming down. Closer you get to Wellington, on these exposed ridge lines, the cooler it's going to get as well. Obviously, the back end of the day, but yeah, it's just cooler down there too. So all that stuff to work with, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and it's just on the weather chat. It is last year it was like mint, and it has been pretty like amazing weather. We're like less than 2 weeks out.
Yeah, 10 days as of recording.
Yeah.
10 days out.
Well, actually, to be honest, right now it's not the greatest, but 2 days ago it was really hot. Well, for this time of year, so it's going to be it's an exciting race in that kind of way in terms of the weather. Like it could be mint, could be normal.
Yeah, it could be quite cold.
And it could be quite cold
rainy,
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
windy. Yeah. So that's part of the challenge. On top of the fact that you're getting heaps of the race in the miler in the dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting in the dark, and it's crazy.
There's a lot of dark. Make sure you got plenty of headlamp batteries capacity. We've just ordered our extra battery.
You want to be comfortable running in the dark as well. Because otherwise that kind of like those hours between like 3 and 5 and I'm sure it probably will happen anyway, but it can feel super long. But anyway,
yes,
we're not there yet.
So then after Skyline, what do we got? The Skyline track. What have we got to say about that? It's just really nice. You're in the open, it's hard packed, underfoot. I will say as well though, there's like, I remember tripping quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
On things on that part of the course. There's like, because it was dark, and and you can't like kind of see the rocks. They're kind of reflective, the light and all that kind of stuff. And then I was tired as well. So I wasn't lifting my feet high enough off the ground and that kind of stuff. And just started hitting rocks with the front of my foot.
Yeah, I suppose the nature of this course is like, it's a pretty hilly race, right? So there's just a lot of ups, and there's a lot of downs, and there's a lot of zigzags, and various gradients of hills. I think in this section, like there's definitely like some more like grindy kind of hills than maybe like some of those steeper ups and downs that were like in some of the parts of Belmont. I kind of remember thinking that.
What's that, steep?
No, not as like steep. They're like long and grindy.
Yeah.
And and then you'll probably get some pretty amazing views of like of the houses of the city and stuff and various suburbs through this as well.
Yeah, I remember this section being quite nice. Aside from the hitting the rocks, tripping on the odd rock, I did actually. Once I left Skyline in better condition, after having a little, regroup and rest and whatever. Did leave and got through this section pretty well actually. All the way to Macra, really. I saw you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next 30Ks was actually a very good 30Ks for me. Or even all the way up until the top of Wrights Hill, actually, where the wheels started coming off. So just a little bit after Macra. It's around about... Actually, I was good up until about 140 Ks, or Arrow Valley. Is it 145-ish? Yeah.
I think, just probably like a little... Your Macra hub stop was just so quick. It was like... Yeah, it was super quick.
In and out.
In and out.
In and out. No mucking around. Too fast.
Probably, actually.
We needed to just take a little bit more time. So yeah, after Skyline, you got the Cow peak as well, all the top of Cow there, and then just ridge lines, little ups, little downs, nice running, all the good stuff. As we mentioned earlier, 50k course, which starts on Sunday, doesn't it? 50k.
Sunday at 7.
Comes up here. So if you're on the 50k, you're going to, if you're in the front half of the 50k, I guess. Oh, they're starting earlier this year, eh? The 50k.
No, starting later. They started at 5 last year.
Okay. All right. I was just going to say, you're going to chase down some of the miler runners.
Well, you probably...
Not so much this year. Maybe just the rear pack.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, the front sort of 50k runners are going to chase down the rear enders of the miler. Did you guys, because you were pacing Kim did 29:40 something, eh?
45, yeah.
Did they?
I remember, 50Ks? We did get passed by quite a few 50Ks, mainly in the last, 20, last bit from it. Yeah, I remember Sam Harvey passing us, I guess I can visualize it in my head, but I can't remember what K it was, in the last 25Ks.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah. And then quite a few other, and I remember the first, female also passed us in the 50k, on some of the road sections, quite later by the zoo and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now we're getting into Macra.
Yeah. So you get to the end of Skyline, and then you have that, another zigzaggy, grindy little gradual climb. Same thing again, similar to quite a lot of the climbs that are on the course in different places, or similar to the longer climbs, I should say, that are on the course in different places. Yeah, it's that single trail. You can jog a lot of it. If you're at the front, you're going to be running the whole thing. Mid packs are going to be jogging sections, walking sections. Rear packers are going to be walking the whole thing. So yeah, it's one of those ones.
Yeah. Just a piece of the course.
Yeah, it's a nice wee bit. And then we got Macra. So yeah, a lot of changes here, as you can see. So obviously the pink is last year's. A lot of improvements, I would say, and flows a lot better. Just looks like it flows a lot better. And you guys, we did on that same run that we did a couple of weeks ago. We were on this part of the course. How did you find it?
Yeah, I found it pretty good. It is actually fairly runnable compared to a lot of this course. There's not too many really steep downs. There's only one I can kind of remember, and then other than that, it's just gradual ups, gradual to steep ups, not super gradual. And then there's some nice down Sally Alley, I think it's called. It's that quite nice gradient to run down. You can, if you're running well, I kind of mentally noted this, I have no idea what I'm going to be 115 k's deep, but it's good motivation to think if I go easier in the first lot of the course where it's quite hilly compared to this bit in Macra, that maybe I could sort of easily move here, but that's just a hope. I don't know what will happen, but it's definitely yeah, like it'd be fun, like in the 50k, to be doing this, and in the 100k as well. But yeah, it's much nicer than it was last year. And
yeah, so I guess the main sort of changes really has been to take out one or two of those real steep descents that were there, and also to remove some of that loop-de-loop kind of nature of it. Yeah, because there was a couple of loops and it really wasn't there. But now it's just, you can just see like it flows, it just flows a lot better.
It is a funny section still though. Like, I just still remember, like, on that training run, I was like, oh, thank goodness we're out of, like, Macra. Obviously, we had to do a lot of navigating, to be honest, as well, on the day, like, in our training run.
Checking where it was and everything, yeah.
I suppose, like, with, like, the nature of this course being a point-to-point, the times, like, that you are not really going point-to-point do feel, like, a little bit, like, mentally, like, where the heck am I going? But it's just part of the part of the course, as well. And obviously, like, yeah, if you've in the miler, like, a pacer can be picked up at the Skyline, so they can run 60k's with you or some version of that. But for myself, like, I suppose 130k's in 30-ish k's in, like, I'm picking up Chris, like, that's going to be a big puller in, but it's also like, oh, I can't wait to see him kind of thing as well. 130k's is quite long. It's like quite far into a miler.
To pick up your pacer, yes.
Yeah, like 10k's, like for something like Porirua, it's 120k's or thereabouts. That 10k's is like 2 to 3 hours difference, which at that time of the morning could...
Yeah, it's going to be during the night, eh?
Could be mentally quite hard, but it's at least I don't know. It's just part of the
challenge of this one.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, you got 10k's from the top of Macra Peak really, till you get to the Macra aid station at the bottom of the Macra mountain bike park. So you got 10k's of Macra Peak goodness to look forward to.
I must say, like, when I did do the training run, we accidentally added we missed a crucial turn, so we
added a bit on down here.
Yeah, we added like 4k's, I think.
You went for a bit.
So that obviously does make a difference even on a training run. So yeah, I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Nice. Then you got a Macra hub, main hub, easy to get to, easy to drive to, great support. Yeah, that was a good hub, eh?
Yeah.
Did you guys have fun there waiting for me last year?
Yes, I was I made a huge improvements from crewing and pacing Chris at Faultline compared to how I approached it this year at Porirua, because I was like, I had so much anxiety and anticipation and all that kind of stuff. I was there way too early and stuff, but yeah, it was good because it's a good hub. It's a good hub to hang out at.
I think that's what I'll be doing, because obviously we're reversing the roles this year. I'm pacing, you're running, and I'm the same. I'm just kind of like, if it's race day, you just want to be at the hub and seeing people anyway. Like, you're just going to see your mates, other people supporting. Yeah, it's all part of the fun.
And also, it's a point where the relay or teams for the miler swap over as well.
Oh yeah.
So that kind of creates more people, obviously, because they're waiting for their runner to come in.
Yeah. So after Macra, then you got a little bit of road there, and then you're into this Wrights Hill climb, and again, similar to what we've mentioned a few times now, you've got another it's 7k's, isn't it? It's 7k's of that sort of grindy single trail uphill kind of stuff. It's not a ridiculous climb, like in terms of vert, but yeah, it's just one of those ones again. Maybe by here, if you're in the miler especially, you're going to be getting tired. Perhaps you'll be walking the whole thing. I actually left Macra in good condition last year. Very excited for the last 30 k's of the race, and ran a good chunk of this, like grind running, like slow jogging, because it's non-technical. It's just soft gravel underfoot. So there's no, it was just, you can take little steps. You don't have to raise the feet right off the ground, that kind of thing. No rocks to trip over on that one. And I was jogging up quite any of the slightly less steep bits. I was jogging up quite well.
Actually, funny thing is also, like, so I picked up Kim at Macra, and Kim ran this section really well.
Oh, nice.
But afterwards, after she got probably to Wrights Hill, she sort of started slowing. So I don't know, like, it's an interesting thing that you kind of experience the same thing. So it's like the last big hub, right? And whether you've picked up a pacer or not, like, you've stopped, you've like taken on some fueling, then you approach this kind of hill that is actually quite runnable. But then suddenly when you get to Wrights Hill, like, it gets back into quite steep ups and downs. So maybe it's something to be a little bit wary of. Like, if you're feeling like fantastic, you're excited, you're seeing your pacer, whatever it is, that maybe it's like a little bit of a boost, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm I'm not feeling so great.
Then you get to the top of Wrights Hill, and then you're just like, oh, I've still got 25 k's to go.
Yeah, and I remember also we ran past Stefan McKinley on the squigglies. He
ran past you? Or?
No, we ran past him.
Okay.
But when we got to like Wrights Hill, thereabouts, he passed us, and that was the last we ever saw of him. He was bombing the downs.
Nice.
Yeah, he was doing well, but he obviously was going more conservative actually on the squigglies than we were.
On the Wrights Hill climb, you mean?
Yeah, on the squigglies.
Yeah.
And then when we got to like Zealandia, he passed us, and that was the last we ever saw of him. It was just an interesting.
What was his time in the finish through? No,
I think like 28 hours.
Ah, okay, so yeah, and
like
that just highlights how much. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? And how often do we see that in a miler, where the last 20 to 30 k's, you can have someone that you were close to for the whole day. I had this with Tim Pickering as well. Oh, yeah. You can be close to someone for the entire day, and the last time they overtake you, or the last time you guys separate, might be 20 odd k's, 25 k's, and they can finish like an hour and a half ahead of you. And there's only 25 k's of the course to cover, so that's the thing, with the miler. It's quite amazing. And I had that in this. I was yo-yoing quite a lot with my mate Tim for the entire day at Faultline. We ran together for a lot of the first section to Totra, and then I actually got in front of him there, and I actually stayed in front of him for the whole day, right up until Macra, although we were close for the whole day. And then we yo-yoed a bit in Macra. I left Macra aid station ahead of him. He overtook me around the top of Wrights Hill, and he ended up finishing an hour ahead of me. So it just highlights how pacing yourself in those earlier sections of your miler, or just throughout the day, earlier in the day, getting all those little things right throughout the day, getting that intensity right, is so important, right? Because it just has a huge effect on how you finish your day.
Yeah, for sure. And I think sometimes it is also like a bit of experience. Like if I compare like the two, Stefan and Kim and you and Tim, like there's probably an element of like experience
Yes,
between the two.
There's a lot more long stuff,
And so even though you got like, those two people were close, like probably like obviously the output that they were.
Yeah, they were cruising.
They were actually putting out was
more appropriate
for the distance, but it is what it is, and at the end of the day, everyone did well.
You're going to be real disciplined, aren't you?
I am. I'm.
You're going to be like, it's going to be good. This is good. It's going to make my pacing job easier,
I'm a bit of a perfectionist or something in that way. I like to be like, yeah, perfect, but we'll see.
But yeah, we saw it with Jason and at Tarawera too, one of our guys, and he did a sub 22 hours at Tarawera, first 100 miler too, by the way, and I finished only 20 odd minutes ahead of him, and he did the last marathon like 2 hours faster than me or something ridiculous, wasn't it? It was a huge.
Maybe not quite 2 hours, but he did like
definitely an hour.
Yeah, he did like you did like 6.5 hours or something, and he did like 5 hours 40 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like chasing me down big time.
Yeah.
Another 5 to 10 Ks of the course, he would have just mowed me down easily.
Chris was funny. I was like, it's really interesting, like pacing. I've said this before, like pacing someone. Like I've paced you twice now, and Kim as well. So I've done 3 pacing, and it's like not projecting your outcome on the person, and also maybe how you're feeling as a pacer. Obviously, you're fresher, and you're like.
Yeah,
I was like,
why
Chris,
are you moving so slow?
Well,
just
no,
move
Chris
faster.
was talking and just like, not that you should not talk, but I just like had this like feeling sometimes you could run a little bit faster.
No, I was in so much pain. Yeah, I was in physical pain. It was quite hard. Man, I could have run faster. Felt thing, but the physical limitations.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get all sorts, eh? You get all sorts. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? All part of the mile fun. Right, where were we up to? Top of Wrights Hill. Is that where we were up to?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
We digressed.
That was a good one. So, top of Wrights Hill, the crux of this next section is the fence line track, isn't it? You're on the perimeter of Zealandia. So, there's actually a couple of steep climbs in there, isn't there? A couple of little steep bits in there. Back to that hard packed kind of gravelly surface, hard packed surface, and then we pop out onto there's a private road section here that we cross out of fence line. Looks like about here. So there's a section where you come out of fence line and you pop into this private road here. So it's a tar sealed road. And there's a bit of a steep climb actually on that road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Looks like it's this little bit here. If you can see on the bottom of the elevation profile, it's that little steep. Look at that, man. That is a killer. Look how steep that is. That was for me when I wasn't feeling good in the mile last year. That was just like brake material. It's just like, oh my god, what is this? That's actually I mean, it's better that you are on the tar sealed road for that actually, because that climb on the fence line track is very steep also. Obviously, it's the same hill, but bit of saving grace that you are on the tar sealed road for that bit. But once you get that climb out the way, look at this. You got a beautiful downhill, and then things start to open up quite a bit there, really, don't they? I mean, there is some little steep ups in the last bit, but things do start to open up a bit. And so from the top of the wind turbine, it's about 23-ish, 24-ish Ks, because obviously that's just the start of the 25K there. They do 1 to 2 Ks to get around there. Nice drop down into Arrow Valley aid station there. Down Carparts track, and then these other tracks that drop into Arrow Valley. A few little adjustments there.
Yeah.
Carparts was fun. We didn't get to run on it when we did our group run the other weekend because there was a bike event on using that trail.
Right, yeah.
But Carparts, it's fun. Look out for the Carparts, literal Carparts in the trees.
Yes.
You'll see them.
Nothing like that at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I know. Yeah. Look out for see if the little doll is in the kiddie car seat as well. That'll get you. Dropping into Arrow Valley. That's really that section, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the last bit is actually super interesting. You won't be bored.
Yeah, and this is really interesting, isn't it? Like you said, yep. This is very different to the entire rest of the course, isn't it? Like, it's so different to the preceding 145 kilometres.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah, unto its own, this section. And you can see there's a lot of adjustments this year, the pink bits being the old last year's course, the blue bits being this year's course. But yeah, a lot of, we ran this and it was awesome. Like the new bits, the enhancements, really good, really nice to run.
Yeah, they've taken out a lot of stairs. Like, there is still stairs in this section, but they've taken out a lot of stairs, and it just flowed nicely. And I suppose because this course, like, you're never actually too far from town, but in this section you really feel like you are running in town a bit more than, say, the other bits. So that means that there's more road crossings. There's heaps of fields. Like, Wellington has heaps of fields, which you cross over or go around the perimeter of. Yeah,
like sports fields. Yeah, so many.
And
in this section of the course. Yeah.
And there's just like hills with a mixture of like trail and road, like up Mount Albert, and you're just sort of turning and switching back and doing all sorts, and it's actually quite fun. Just to like especially like the miler or the 100k, you're just kind of putting a bit of twist into to finish it off. And
it was so cool. And for me in the miler last year, I found this section hard. Obviously I wasn't doing too well, but also I had to navigate quite a bit. Just more, there's a bit more bandwidth required, like working through all these little patches, every little patch. It's not like you're just on a single trail and just following the trail. There's just this thing of like, there's a road crossing. There's the Macra over there. So there's just that kind of, bandwidth required, thinking about where the next thing is, the next little section, or like you said, the fields, all these field crossings. So you're all of a sudden you come out of a single trail and you're in a big open field.
Not much room.
So it's like, oh, cool, where am I going? Like, where's the next marker? You're like looking over with the light. Oh, yep, there it is. So it's just that sort of stuff required. We have the advantage this year. I wasn't paced, by the way. I didn't have a pacer, so obviously that would have made a huge difference if I had someone with me who was fresh, who could like see properly, see the markers and also navigate. But I was having to do all that on my own, so under like high fatigue and tiredness by that stage. This is one course where having a pacer is a good thing, eh?
I would say so. Yeah,
like having a pacer is a good one on this one.
Yeah, or you just know Wellington very well.
Unless you really know Wellington. Yeah.
But it's also another thing that you do, which I think, is this the golf? Yeah. So last year, like, you go through a golf course, but last year you actually went, as you can see, you went like quite through the golf course. This year you're kind of going around the perimeter. But it is a funny feeling like that. This is a big open space, so we should be running here or should I be running there? But it's flowed much better this year. You're kind of just going around the perimeter, and it was good. It's just
it flowed much better. It really did. And there were some nicer little like single trail bits added in too that weren't in it last year. Like thinking about the patch around the back of Wellington Scottish Athletics Club. So instead of taking the field before the Athletics Club, you sort of you carried on the single trail around the edge of that field and bypassed the club. That kind of thing. That was all really nice. And this section around the zoo
was better.
Was better, eh? And just a bit easier, clearer to follow. It seemed to work really nice as well. And the Mount Vic bits, so this last bit here, it was quite straightforward actually. Really, it was the Southern Walkway. Is it the Southern Walkway? It's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of the course is on the Southern Walkway track. So, yeah, that actually, is a nice thing to know. It's like the pink. It was a pink markers, wasn't it?
Pinky orangey.
Pinky kind of posts that you'll see with Southern Walkway, and found that pretty useful as well. For the most part, we were on that track. It's a good thing to know.
Yeah, it just didn't feel as hilly as well, actually, or something. Or there weren't, as many stairs or something as well. It was just,
Yes.
It was nice. It is like a bit rooty and stuff, I must say.
Oh yeah, there was some a bit of rooty stuff around Mountain Vic in that day. Yeah. So yeah, and the last bit, just so people know, you got to think about what mental state you're in by the time you get to here. So it's often it's not all skipping down the trail to the finish line. Sometimes it is. It's not always, but there's just this weird thing of
all right,
you're coming here, away. You're going away from the city, like you're literally, because as you're here on Mount Vic, you can just see the CBD and where you want to be. You're like, oh, we're just there. It's just over there. And so just as the crow flies, you're like, oh man, not far to go, But it's just this thing of like you get the sense that you're going away from the city. And I think it's just a nice thing to mentally put in your head. If you're coming to run this course and it's your first time, doing this, and it's just a nice thing to know that you will feel like you're moving away from the city, or because you are, like you're sort of running away a little bit, and you get that sense.
More zigzaggy downs.
And just even like right at the end, there's just some crazy little bits.
Some steep bits, actually.
Yeah, some real steep little bits. You can't even barely see them on the elevation profile, but you think that you're done with the uphills.
Oh, yeah.
You think, like, you get to the top of Mount Vic, which is around about here, where you start sort of going down a little bit, and you feel like, cool, that's all the climbing done. We're done. It's all downhill now, and then it's flat. But it's not. There's just these little, like, stair things. There's a couple of bits of stairs. There's some steep, like, little path sections. And, then you just there's a few little bits where you just turn away. You think you're about to drop down onto the road, and then it's like, oh, no, we're going right. We're going away from the CBD. So it's just a nice thing to stick in your head and have a chuckle to yourself about it when you're doing it. Remember this. Remember us talking about it, because it is just a funny little thing. Yeah. I think we've covered this. Is there anything we've missed from this section? Not really, eh? Pretty much covered it. Just be prepared for like variation after variation. Yeah. Like you said, it's like, like if we just even look at this little Arrow Valley bit, you leave the Arrow Valley hub, it's like a little road section path, then it's single trail, then it's a park crossing, then it's a road crossing, then it's single trail, then it's a field crossing, and so that really is the theme of most of the section, like you mentioned as well.
Yeah.
That's the theme, variation.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, and then of course you got just the flat bit at the end. Always nice to have a flat bit of road for, I think it's about 1.5 k's, isn't it? To the finish line. And depending on, if you're in the miler, we will probably just be coming in day in the morning here, won't we?
Yeah.
Be morning time. Hopefully there's a beautiful morning coming along the waterfront there. And finishing the race. Is such a beautiful place to finish, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
How amazing is that? Finishing in downtown Wellington after you've just done 165 kilometres.
Yeah, it's certainly
ridiculous.
buzzy. It definitely will feel like a big adventure.
Yeah, where else do you have a CBD finish line? In a city after doing a trail ultra miler. It's pretty busy, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Good work, Faultline and Wellington. Sweet. So that brings us to the end of this one. Hope you've enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. Drop us any comments below about your race day. How are you looking forward to it? Check us and subscribe on the channel as well. That helps us out a lot. And if you get a lot out of this content, then feel free to check out our CMF Run Club annual membership, $60 a year, unlimited training plans. It goes towards supporting stuff that we do like this, or free community runs, discount codes galore to our partners in our CMF shop. Check that out. We'd love to have you as part of the team, and give us a yell if you want any help with your running, your coaching. Jump on a call and help you out there as well.
Sounds fantastic.
Yay! Catch you on the next one, my friends, and have an awesome Faultline Ultra. Come and say hi to us if you see us around.
Cool. Look forward to seeing you.
See you.
Bye.